All right, Algebra 1, we're working with percents. We are in lesson 7.5. This is good old middle school math at its finest, and you guys probably are great at it. Our essential question is, can you work with percents and decimals? So remember that 29% is the same thing as 29 over 100, which is the same thing as 0.29. 637% is 637 over 100, or 6 and 37 over 100. And the decimal is 6.37. 0.02% is 0.02 over 100, which is equivalent to 2 over 10,000, which is the same thing as 0.0002. So let's just review. Tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, and that's where they get that 10,000ths. All right, so it says to express as a fraction. So we know that any percent, we are just going to put over 100, but don't forget, we always have to do what? Reduce. Good. Since 36 and 100 can be reduced by 4, it's going to be 9 over 25. 180%. Same thing as 180 over 100. And when we reduce, we know we can get 9 over 10. Three-fourths%. Well, I know that 3/4 is the same thing as 0.75%. And I know this is the same thing as 0.75 over 100, which can continue to be 75 over 10 thousandths, which, yes, this does reduce to 3 over 400. 25 goes into 10,400 times. And we know that 37.5%. There's a couple ways that we could do this one. We could do 37.5 over 100, which we know is 375 over 1,000, which reduces to 3 over 8. Now the other way. You may have done these before as 8 divided into 7.000. You could still do that. We know that 8 does not go into 7, but it does go into 7D. How many times? 8 times. And we're going to have a remainder of 6, and 8 goes into 60 7 times. 56, we have a remainder of 4, and 8 goes into 40 5 times with no remainder. But I am going to show you a different way to do this. So it says to write as a decimal. I'm sorry, it says write each number as a percent. That's the decimal. So let's go ahead and write it as a percent. I know that I have to move the decimal 2 places, so it's 87.5%. Now, I'm going to erase this because I want to show you what we're leaning on for this. We know that 7/8 is what's given, and I'm just comparing it to what over 100. And it's kind of the exact same thing, but we're doing a little algebra. 700 is equal to 8x, and when I divide each side by 8, x is equal to 87.5. And notice that this number, because it's over 100, is going to be the exact percent. Now, I'm going to give you a little observation, so if you guys can go ahead and observe 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8, 1/9, 2/9, 3/9, 4/9, 5/9, 6/9. I'm going to give you a minute to do that. So with the 1/8, we know that if I take 1 and divide by 8, I get 0.125. I also know that this is 1/4, so that's going to be 0.25. I'm going to put a 0 there just so we could see. I also know that this is 0.375, and we know this is a half, which is going to be 0.5, etc., etc. Do you guys see how this is going up by 0.125 each time? It's going up, going up, going up. Good. Now let's observe what we see. If I have 1/9, that's 0.1 repeating. 2/9 is 0.2 repeating. 3/9 is 1/3, which is 0.3 repeating, etc., etc., etc. So do you see anything over 9 is something being repeated? So we're going to use these observations to help us out in the future. Now the reason I showed you that method is because I want to see you figure out what is 48% of 125. So I always teach my students percent over 100 is equal to the is over the of. Sometimes the placement of is and of is really hard. So just know it's typically the number right afterwards. So it says of 125. So I'm going to put the of at the bottom. And it says is what number? So my is going to be my x. And then it says 48%. So I'm going to put 48 over 100. So I'm just going to cross multiply 48 times 125. 48, well, I put 49. 48 times 125 is 6,000. And make that equal to 100x. And when I divide each side through by 100, hopefully you know what x is. X is equal to 60. And you can always check that. 60 over 125 should give you that 48%. There's always a great way to check math. So it's going to give you that 0.48, which I know when I move a decimal to a percent, I move the decimal over 2. How about 9? It says 9 is, so I know this is a little backwards. It says 9 is 36%. Well, we know the percent's always going to go over 100. The 9 is of what number? So if it says of what number, obviously we're looking for the x. And we're going to cross multiply. 36x is equal to 900. When I divide each side by 36, x is equal to 25. And the last word problem, what percent of 225 is 99? So I know I'm looking for the percent. The is 99. The of is 225. And I know you could probably just take 99 and divide it by 225, and you're going to get your 44%. Okay, but this kind of helps us know, because you are going to get, when you just multiply or divide 99 divided by 225, you get 0.44. But when you actually do the multiplication and do the cross multiplication here, 225x is equal to 9,900. You actually get that 44%. So you'll just put it right in. All right, the last question I'm going to go over. A dealer pays $5,500 for a car and wants to make a profit of 15%. What should the selling price be? So he already paid that $5,500. Okay, I'm going to write this out again. Percent over 100 is equal to is over the of, and we're going to change this word in just a little bit. What is the 100% that the dealer's paying? Yeah, he paid 100% of the car was $5,500, right? But he wants to make a profit, a gain. So I'm going to call that 115 because this is going to give me the total amount that the guy needs to sell his car for. It's not just going to give me the 15%. So I don't have to worry about taking the $5,500 and then adding that 15%. I've already got that done. So when I cross multiply, 115 times 5,500 is 632,000. 500, and that's equal to 100x. Well, this is easy. I know I could just cross out those two zeros, and it looks like he needs to sell the car for $6,325.